7 days ago, Hull KR, led out here now by Tyrone McCarthy on the right. They booked their place in the final at Wembley for the first time in 29 years. That will mean nothing if they lose their Super League status over the next 2 months. Jamie Peacock moves in as football manager in 2016. The cup final is their highest profile game in 3 decades, but from here on in, their Super League status goes on the line, and the coach, Chris Chester, knows that better than most. Paul Rowley, Championship leaders against Super League 10th place finishers. The pick of the first weekend of this middle 8 qualifiers. What a day for these players. It's something they've waited for, well, for many, many years. Maybe 10 years since they were last in Super League, way back in 2005. Terry O'Connor, Paul Cullen alongside me. Terry, a massive day for these two clubs. Yeah, it is, Eddie, and just look at the pitch. The conditions are absolutely perfect. Both of these sides in the respective leagues like to throw the ball around. And Leigh Centurions, well, they've been full-time for the last 12 months, so they're going to be big, they're going to be strong, they're going to be focused as well, because they knew that they wanted to challenge one of the big sides, and Hull KR are one of those big sides in this middle 8. And how much has that game last week against Warrington taken out of Hull KR? For Leigh, they need to start very strong. Welcome back to the microphone to Paul Cullen. It's been a long time since we've had you with us, Paul. Welcome back. You're here for a fabulous day.
Well, rebuilt, recovered, and thoroughly enjoying the prospects of this game, Eddie. You know, Hull Kingston Rovers are buoyed by that brilliant performance against Warrington in the Challenge Cup, so they will have confidence. And the Leigh Centurions, they win every week, or apparently so they are a side ready and waiting for this game.
Josh Mantellato gets us underway then. Here we go with the first tackle of the match, and a good chase on Jacob Emmett by 3-4 Hull Kingston Rovers defenders. The game being played in humid conditions. It's arguably the best day of the summer so far in this part of the world. Glorious sunshine all day. It's just clouded over a little bit now, but beautiful summer conditions. And as Terry rightly says, the pitch here this afternoon looking in magnificent order. It would be a credit in Super League, but that is at least 7 games away. And Leigh, as they've done all season, looking to move this ball, get it away. Gareth Hock will take the ball forward. He is a kingpin for the Leigh Centurions. If they can keep a lid on his temperament, well, you never know what might happen here today. That's Briley with a kick down the line. It bounces and skips away from Kieran Dixon, and he will bring it forward. And we saw in the semi-final the damage Dixon can do from running deep. Well, he's a danger man, isn't he? The balance, the footwork that he has, and do you know what, Hull KR, when they play in Super League, they play against teams that are very structured, and this is no disrespect to the Leigh Centurions. They just look up and play what's in front of them. They've got some fabulous players in like Greg McNally, Ridyard and Briley, and anyone who's not watched them, this will be a game that you'll stand back and think, do you know what, these can get up in Super League and they can make a difference.
Go 3.
It's Hull Kingston Rovers, though, who are in possession here. The Challenge Cup finalists. Tony Pulatua takes it forward, flicks the ball away in the tackle, gets it away. And here once again is Kieran Dixon doing what he does so often. He joins the line, gets involved in the party whenever he can. And now an opportunity here for Dane Chisholm. Chisholm goes up the middle, the Australian, but he loses the ball in collision with Gareth Hock. It's a free play, of course, and the ball eventually gets to Hull Kingston Rovers' hands, but they'll bring it back. And Dane Chisholm, well, a lovely break, but he just couldn't hang on.
Interesting signals there from, for me, more than Hull Kingston Rovers from the Leigh Centurions. Pushed away on a left channel on the first play, and then shifted it right across the other side of the field. Chisholm finding a gap on the inside, so Leigh have to tighten up on that lock-up defence on the inside.
That's a brilliant play from Chisholm, because what he does, he looks up and he just notices that Fufu Moimoi hasn't closed the gate. He's not close enough to the man who's defending outside of him, and that's why he steps off the right foot and puts those afterburners on. Warning sign for Leigh Centurions.
It could easily be a fairy tale for Dane Chisholm when you think about it. And here is a penalty coming Leigh's way. Chris Wellham with hands in at the play the ball. Penalty to Leigh. I'm going to talk about that Chisholm fairy tale. He's here for 10 weeks till the end of the season. He could he could be playing at Wembley in 3 weeks' time.
He could be. Well, the last time we saw him, he showed enough touches when they played against Saints. I think he'd only been off the plane for 6 days. No Albert Kelly, which means that he's got to step up. Albert Kelly wasn't in the team that played here in the Challenge Cup final when Wigan had to, sorry, in the Challenge Cup game when Wigan had to move that game. So just because Albert Kelly's not playing, Hull KR still have enough, you know, in that side to get the results.
Yes, they have one outside the city boundary of Hull in the Challenge Cup, of course, but in Super League, if they've ever come outside of the city of Kingston upon Hull, it has been a struggle for them this season. Here is Bob Bezic now for the Leigh Centurions. He's brought to ground. McNally, the dummy half, gets it away once again to Andrew Dixon. Sorry, Jake Emmett, I beg your pardon. Jake Emmett it is. And Jake Emmett waiting, gets to his feet. Bezic, dummy half, he had Fui Moimoy with him. He goes to Ridyard instead. And there's a chance there for Armstrong, but he is trapped on the last tackle.
Well, what Leigh Centurions will do, they'll throw numbers at you, whether it be Armstrong here who hits the line into real hard line he picks, or whether it's Greg McNally who's coming out of the back. They always create chances, there's always players in motion, and every man who's got a Leigh Centurions jersey on is an option.
Paul Rawley wants his men here, I'm sure, to keep Hull Kingston Rovers pegged back deep inside their own half. That's the second tackle gone this latest set. That's a neat run, though. Tremendous run from Ben Cockayne.
I think Leigh will grow every time there's an error from Hull Kingston Rovers. That tackle given away previously from Chris Wellen. Leigh will grow in confidence when aside from a superior division are giving them free ground and free ball. Hull Kingston Rovers need to be very mindful and very disciplined.
Chisholm with the deep kick. The referee called that it would not have been a 40-20. That might have been worth having a second look at. Or did his toe actually touch the red line? Possibly.
I think that's all.
Just on the line.
Yeah.
So that would have been not a 40-20. But Chisholm, his kicking game could be very important for Rovers here this afternoon.
Well, what he needs time, he needs space, he needs his big fellas in the middle. When they're coming up with those yardage plays, he needs to kick on that front foot, win that last play before they kick it.
Fui Moimoy, it's his first season here, the NRL legend, but he is a massive favourite on the terraces. And Leigh looking to pierce this Hull Kingston Rovers defence. Of course, Rovers, as we already said, they've been here once before this season to the Leigh Sports Village. They came here in May to face Wigan in the Cup. The DW Stadium not available. They won 16 points to 12 against a team that demolished them 60-0 a couple of weeks previously. Briley now, though, gets it away to the fullback McNally, and quick hands from Worthington, but too quick. And the ball finding its way over the line. You know, and a forward pass anyway. Sorry,
Eddie, sometimes they play like this no matter what. And they can be accused of overplaying, but in these conditions, you're not going to change the way that Leigh Centurions play. The reason why, on average, they scored 42 points in every league game that they've played this year is because they play like that. They're very good. They're an entertaining side to watch.
177 tries Leigh Centurions have scored in 23 games in the Kingston Press Championship. Now their eyes are set firmly on the First Utility Super League 2016.
Well, the skills there on the edge, not quite good enough for the Leigh Centurions, but it doesn't alter the fact that on that exit strategy, as they were working the ball upfield, both Ridyard and Brearley were furiously organising plays and took a ball back down to the short side. So they're as sharp and have as much vision as most halfbacks do in Super League. They are a confident pairing, and Hull Kingston Rovers need to be wary of not giving them players many chances.
Adam Walker looking to take the ball forward, but a solid Leigh defence. And it was the centre, Worthington, who pushed him back a metre or two. Now, Dixon again. He's so good on his feet, is Kieran Dixon. Always danger when he has the ball in his hands. Lunt fires a wide pass and finds Pulatua. And Pulatua going nowhere, loses the ball backwards. Well, what's the referee going to give here? He's just asked for clarification from his touch judge. He'll blow the whistle here. Obviously didn't quite hear the call.
So knock on first by Hull KR.
On the far side.
Some down by Tony Pulatua.
Well, Ben Taylor saying that a knock on here from Hull KR.
Shut up.
See some of the Leigh players think it's Graham Horn just questioning that. The ball, the offload from Pulatua, does it go backwards? Yes, it does. It comes off Briley. He knocks the ball forward. I think this is head and feed to Hull KR.
changed it round. He's changed the decision. He's changed the decision. Oh no, he's given it Leigh now.
Tony knocked on, yeah.
Tony Pullatua knocked on, he says.
Well, I think Tony Pullatua was offloading that ball. It was going backwards.
Stay on.
The calls come from the side, though.
Head in, Bob.
So Leigh won't be complaining. They will have the head and feed at this scrum.
Play on.
Ball now is clear, and here come the Leigh Centurions trying to make progress down this left-hand side. Good work by Ken Seo to halt Tom Armstrong in his stride. This now is Liam Kay. 34 tries this season, top try scorer for the Leigh Centurions. And Briley, probably the hottest property outside Super League. McNally with a looping pass wide. They have to deal with the threat on the fringes. Hickson goes down here, formerly with the Leigh Miners Rangers Amateur Club just up the road. And Briley again with hands on the ball. Hock gets it in to Ridyard. Ridyard looking for the runners. Armstrong is one of them. And Armstrong gets it wide to Liam Kay, and Kay will cut in field. Evading 3 challenges. Good ball. Now misses McNally. And they had to be big in defence. They had to be big in defence, did OKR, to keep them out. Bezic wants a quick play. The ball, he's gone without it, Bob Bezic. Oh, they've turned possession over, and here they come again now, OKR. And it's a foot race, because he's away, is Chisholm. Oh, he's slowing up. He's slowing up. He's going to go over in a canter, and he does. One end of the field to the other, but was there a little injury there for Chisholm?
Time off.
Was there an injury for Chisholm? Because 20 metres away, he slowed up.
Just check the ground in.
And he's still on his haunches. But the referee has given a try on the field, so they have to find something pretty special in the melee on the goal line, the other end, to deny this.
Well, I think Chisholm's okay. There's no problem with the grounding. I don't think he pulls up with an injury. I just think he knew exactly that he'd had the legs to go over and score the try. But decent play, isn't it?
Try is given to Hull Kingston Rovers. Dane Chisholm, well, there he is. He's still on his haunches. He had to run 90 metres to score that try.
And let's give some credit as well to Kieran Dixon. Kieran Dixon saved the try, didn't he? When McNally looked like he was going to go in, he hit a real good line near the sticks. He thought he was going over. Bob Bezic with the mistake, and this is the difference. Some of the Super League sides were just attacking sides, look to play. As soon as the mistake, the transition from defence to attack. Chisholm gets this ball, he spots a little gap. They hadn't pushed up, I think it was Liam Kay who hadn't pushed up, he hadn't filled the hole. And as Chisholm gets to 20 metres out, he knows he's done enough. He just pulls back, knows he can't get or make the angle any better. Well, simple mistake, Paul.
Well, Bob Bezic is usually a far better player than that, Terry. He's just took his eye off the ball and presented a golden opportunity to Hull Kingston Rovers. And you're quite right. In his peripheral vision now, Chisholm is just having a look around. I've done the job. I don't need to waste any more injury. I can't get this ball under the sticks. I'm just going to put it down and set the 4 points.
Well, this is very early in the piece to be getting cramp. He did slow up. He did pull back on the run, definitely. I think he had a word with the physio and waved it away, said he's fine. But Mantelata to try and add the extras, Super League's top point scorer, and there you are. They have a 6-point lead, OKR. That will settle the cup finalists' nerves right down.
Well, they knew that they needed to score first, and hopefully just quieten this league crowd. But here's that line ball, there's that shot from Kieran Dixon on McNally. That saved the try, and it's the next play where the mistake is from Bob Bezic. So well done, Kieran Dixon. Not only is he good when he's got the ball, but he's good in defence as well.
Apart from the last pass that should have gone to Gareth Hock for a certain score, how good were Leigh in the build-up? Very expansive, pushing up off the ball and giving themselves for each other.
Pullatua will run the ball back for Hull Kingston Rovers then. They've 4 home games to come. And, well, Leigh might be, I suppose, breathing a sigh of relief that they don't have to travel to the KC Lightstream Stadium. There's only Leeds, Castleford and Hull have won there this year, and here goes Ken Seo now on the next charge, and that's good tackling by McNally. He stood him up, quick play, the ball needed, he plays it to Cockayne. Here now is Kevin Laroya, and Laroya will look inside and gives it to McCarthy. He finds Dixon, and Dixon escapes the clutches of Hock, can't get away from Moi, and with help from Bezic he's brought down on tackle number 4. He's just 18 metres away or thereabouts from the try line. Lunt was the dummy half. They're spreading it wide with Graham Horne. Horne is tackled by Worthington. That was Wellham at dummy half. Here's the crossfield kick looking for the big men. CO is there. CO palms the ball back. And it's still on the last tackle. McCarthy will run it. And he lets it go to Dane Chisholm. Chisholm dabs it to the in-goal area. To the rescue comes Liam Kay. And Liam Kay does well.
Well, he had to be brave at the back, Liam Kay, didn't he? Well, Leigh Centurions, they're used to playing those high-intensity games. Everyone wants to turn them over when they're playing in the Championship. I'm not so sure that they've got to grips with the speed yet of which Hull KR are playing the ball and getting them on the edge as well.
Huge play from Liam Kay. You're absolutely right, Eddie. If he's caught in goal, then Leigh are in all sorts of trouble. He's just given them a real lift so they can get back on the front foot. Hopefully for Leigh, get a decent kick in and get this ball down to the other end of the field, and Leigh have got to have some time when they stay there.
Well, they have, and here they come with a bit of pace. It's Armstrong, but good tackling. Tremendous tackle that by Ben Kay. And that was Andrew Dixon. He got it away, it dipped in front of Ridyard. Ridyard's kick into open space is tantalisingly bouncing within the field of play. CO picks it up and then booms a pass underneath his own post to Mantalato.
Eddie, there's one thing for certain. Leigh Centurions are going to score some tries in this game. What they need to do is they need to work very hard defensively. There's a couple of the big men in the middle starting to walk now. There's a slow retreat getting back with the referee. I know it's hot conditions, but they need to control the ball. They need to be disciplined because Hull KR are doing all those little 1%ers okay at the minute.
And Leigh won't be concerned that they're behind on the scoreboard, because if you remember in the cup tie at Wakefield, they were down 24 points to 6 and still came back and beat Super League opposition on that particular occasion.
Well, they beat Salford, they beat Wakefield. They were very unlucky when they played against Warrington, weren't they? So they'll back themselves.
The big difference is now that they have to do it every single week in this middle eight competition, and that's a huge challenge.
That was a good ball out wide under pressure to Mantalato. And it was equally as good a tackle on him as well that stopped the flow of the big Italian international. Dink over the top of the Leigh Centurions defenders. Oh, it's a great kick, this! So near yet so far, and Maurice Blair was after it.
Well, it's the chase from Blair, isn't it? You can see that Ridyard, he gets back, he's just wishing that ball to go dead, but it's the chase from Blair that makes it special. Tough nerves to steal at the back. The Elliott, the chance turning the ball over. Gareth Hawk, I'm looking forward to his exploits in this game. We all know he's such a talented player with the ball, and there's some rough houses, isn't there, if you look at the Leigh pack.
Yes, they're an uncompromising bunch, there's no doubt about that. This is Armstrong, but at the moment the Hull Kingston Rovers defence coping with what Leigh can throw at them. That was a loose pass, but Ridyard is given plenty of time to pick it up, and then he flicks it nonchalantly into the arms of Tommy Goulden. And Bezic this time finds Ridyard, and the ball goes high, and this is spiralling everywhere. It's claimed by Mantalato. He's so good in the air, is Josh Mantalato.
He is. I'm not so sure you kick to Mantalato because he is one of the biggest players on the pitch. Would you put the ball up in space where Dixon is, where Ben Cockayne is?
Well, Dixon was right next to him. I think Mantalato just took control of the situation.
And what Leigh can't do in those situations is work the ball from one end of the field to the other like they did in good form, and then simply give the ball away. You might have been better putting that ball on the floor with a genuine chase, a kick chase. You know, Hull Kingston Rovers and no mugs, they're through to the Challenge Cup final, for goodness sakes. You cannot give them the ball that easy.
Well, that was a mistake by Kieran Dixon, he just dropped it. And here they come now, the Centurions with Worthington. Mantalato and Wellham dealing with the threat.
Well, there's a reason why he drops it, because he looks up and he sees Fufu Moi Moi.
He just saw the haircut, I think, and that was enough to frighten anybody. And Gareth Hawk goes down on the second tackle, but they're 20 metres away or thereabouts from the line. And here now is Ridyard again. Long pass over the top to Liam Kay. Chance for Liam Kay. No. Great defence from Ken CO.
Do you know, he scores that try when they're playing in the Championship. Scored 5 tries the last time he played. He's got speed to burn, but so has that man, Ken CO. He's been one of the standout players. Everyone talks about Albert Kelly and Campese, but I think CO and McCarthy have been 2 players who've gone about the job and played very well for Hull KR this year.
You're right, Terry. You've got to credit Hull Kingston Rovers for preventing that try, as opposed to Leigh's inability to get the ball over the whitewash. So interesting to see McNally and Ridyard and Braley posing threats at the defence. You know, they almost had him. It's a fraction on the edge that they survived from. But the lead ball players are causing problems.
Sean Lunt did cause them problems then. He found big Tony Pulatua. What another furry story this could be for Tony Pulatua this year, in dispute with the Salford Red Devils. He came here to finish off his career. This is his last season in the game, and here he is now 3 weeks away from a Wembley appearance. Unbelievable. Chisholm here will just chip the ball, looking for Cockayne on the right-hand side, and it's dealt with nicely by Kay, but he's trapped in goal, and it's a goal line dropout.
Well, he does everything, Liam Kay, doesn't he? Does everything well. He knows that he's going to be targeted. He's got to command that ball. He's got to be the man who jumps for that ball and just out-infuses everybody. As soon as it goes up, he knows that Cockayne is coming over the top of him. He's got to focus. There's a little fumble, but he catches it. For Hull Kayano, I'm watching some of the Hull for the Leigh Centurions forward. Fui Moi in particular. I think he's struggling. I'm sure that they're going to have to take him off soon because he's not getting back, and he's going to be the weakness in the middle.
I think as you say that, Fui Moi walks behind the dead ball line and over towards the sideline.
Well, he's one of those impact players that he might not play long minutes like other players, but when he does come on and he plays those in those short bursts, he hurts you every time he carries the ball and tackles you.
Well, he's lasted in the first half here just over, well, just less actually, let's give him credit, just less than 17 minutes, not just over 16. 17 minutes, Fui Moimoi's gone for the time being.
As a coach, Paul Rowley knows his players. He knows what energy they have in the system. And he knows that he's already made an impact in this game early on. You know, Hull Kingston Rovers aren't dominant in the middle of the field, and they're causing problems.
Here's a chance. But Hickson is scragged to the floor by Dixon. Has another go at him and concedes the penalty. Now that would be deemed in some quarters to be a professional foul.
Yeah, and if he didn't do that, Dixon, there would have been what you call a breakout set where all Leigh Centurions players were pushing up. They had good shape out here on the left edge, and I'm sure that the ball would have been spun from one side of the pitch to the other. So Kieran Dixon, he knew that he had to slow this play down as quick as he could. The pressure there from Brierley. As soon as that ball goes free, see Hickson picks the ball up straight into attack mode.
So from the penalty, can they make something of this, the Leigh Centurions? They've got Sam Barlow on the field now. And here is Tommy Goulden again.
I said at the start of the piece, Eddie, that Hull Kingston Rovers don't need to tempt the Leigh Centurions into their own half too often. You know, Leigh have created two fantastic scoring chances and not got it, but you know, the building pressure and the building confidence, and they will open up and they will play.
So Tommy Goulden deciding in the end to take that tackle. Here is Brierley, and he allows it to go into the arms of Jake Emmett, and Emmett uses his considerable frame to take it to within 6 meters of the goal line. And now Gareth Hock will have a try, and Hock releases the pass. Oh, has Brierley dropped this? Oh, has he touched it down? He's touched it down, Ryan Brierley. Brilliant hands from Brierley to hold on to that under pressure. And he comes up with his first try in the qualifiers, but his 34th try of this 2015 campaign. 13 tries in the final 8 League and Cup games of the regular season, and here is another in the playoffs.
Well, Leigh Centurions can score from anywhere, and this is the penalty that leads to the field position from Dixon. Whether they're close to the line or close to the opposition's line, Gareth Hock comes onto that ball. Look at that. There's 3 defenders trying to wrap the ball up. He was renowned in Super League for his offloading ability, but as soon as he comes onto this ball, he backs himself. He picks out Horn, he picks out Tilt, he draws them in, and the space on the inside from where Tilt was defending, and Brierley scores. Quality play.
Quality play from Hock, quality play from this man as well, Ryan Brierley. Am I right in saying he is the hottest property outside the Super League and might be there next year?
Oh, very much so, Eddie, and I'm watching him behind the scenes off the play, and he's organised and he's shouting, he's getting all his guys in the right position, he's working the play before the play before the play. That's the best asset any halfback can have. You know, if Hull Kingston Rovers didn't realise that in a game, they do now. 2 ridiculous penalties have put themselves under pressure, I'm a little bit disappointed with the discipline of Hulkingston Rovers. You can't give Gareth Hock opportunities like that. The best way to defend your try line is not to be there in the first place. They've not got a grip of that yet.
138 goals this season for Martin Ridyard in the regular campaign, and he's made it 139 for the season now. And Chris Chester knows his men, the Challenge Cup finalists, are in a battle. That ball came out of the sunshine, and it's Barlow who runs this back.
And you talk about Ryan Brierley being one of the hottest properties outside the Super League. You also look at Martin Ridyard. I think he's a talented player, but the best player in the last 10 years in the Championship is Bob Bezic for me. I love the way that he plays, what he brings to the game, the energy that he has. And then when Bob Bezic gets tired, they've got Mickey Hyam to bring on the pitch, and that'll speed the game up again for Centurions. Here's
Tom Armstrong, a former St Helens Academy product. He had 3 seasons in the Super League, just 15 games. Armstrong, who plays the ball there to Bezic, and Barlow will take it forward again. Down he goes, and that is the 5th tackle. So expect the kick here, and it's with Martin Ridyard, and it's all along the deck from Ridyard. Simple, straightforward stuff, finding the line, and a scrum down coming up for Hull Kingston Rovers to feed. Salford against Wakefield is available on the Sky Sports for iPad app tomorrow at 3 o'clock. It's on Sky Sports Extra. For access to the app and everything else, go to the website. And if you haven't got the app loaded on your device, then go to skysports.com/extra and follow all the links, and you'll find it there. We had a fantastic match on Sky Sports Extra last night when Castleford beat Hull.
It was a really good game.
So close. Like the 4th place race in the Super League.
Yeah, down to the wire. Some very good tries. Michael Shenton scored hat-trick in the first half. Nearly had 5 tries in that game, Eddie. 1 rule back.
What were you watching, Terence? Were you watching us, or you were just having one eye on the other?
No idea. I was actually working on that game.
Were you now?
So you didn't watch it?
Well, how could I watch it? I was at Leeds and Warrington.
Well, I like what I'm seeing so far from the Leigh Centurions. Sophisticated play somewhat, scored a try, completed, got the ball out of play. I'm going to work hard in defence now.
I'm glad to know we're getting our money's worth out of you, Terry, anyway. That's the most important.
Did you just think I had the night off?
I thought you had the night off. I thought Barry was looking after you and dealing with it as well, as he normally does. High crossfield kick. Well claimed. Well claimed by Liam Kay. Tilts is all over him, though.
Yeah, they don't put pressure on themselves, Leigh Centurions. Everyone's got a job to do. And when you've got a coach like Paul Rowley who just sets out there, look, I'll back you. Whatever you choose to do, I'll back you to do it. If you make a mistake, you've just got to back that up. There's a Hull KR player down now. Is it Ben Cockayne?
It looks like it is. Yes, Ben Cockayne's in a spot of bother by the looks of things. Meanwhile, here comes Emmett, who gets the ball away in centre field, and here goes Briley again. He's got support from McNally. He chips over the top for McNally. It lands for McNally. He will score. That's a sensational try. But was he onside, Greg McNally? Was Greg McNally onside? They have a try on the field, but obviously it's whether he was ahead of the kicker, Briley, when the kick came in.
Well, this is so close, this. But what about the offload? This is Leigh Centurions at the best. We're just looking at that.
I think he's onside, don't you?
He looks okay, doesn't he? He looks okay.
It seemed to take an eternity before it dropped into his arms as well. They're having a look at the grounding, so this is going to be given.
Do you know, when they're in this frame of mind, they're absolutely brilliant.
The try is given to Leigh. They take the lead. But that was a try worthy of the Super League. That was as good as anything we've seen.
Well, this is just what Leigh Centurions are all about. They go into contact, they try and offload the ball, they give the ball to somebody who's in a better position than themselves, and they just keep turning up for each other. When you play the game, you've got to run hard. You can't preempt any play. And when Barlow goes in, he gets that ball away because he knows that teammates are pushing up with him. So Briley pushes up. You've got your halves that do the job, they do all the hard work to get you into that field position. The little tip on from Jake Emmett, Barlow with the footwork, the change of direction, and then Briley goes through. As soon as he's free, he's looking for somebody who's in a better position here, and that man is there.
And without using the slide rule, looking at the replay, you kind of think that Greg McNally is a former halfback. He's got great spatial awareness. He knew he was onside.
He did. The referee wanted clarification. The clarification came. The try got the green light. The kick has been successful, and Leigh are ahead by 12 points to 6. And while all of that was going on, poor old Ben Cocaine has been led from the field. He has problems, obviously. Maybe it's a broken nose, I'm not sure, but Ben leaves the field. This is where the accident happened. He did seem to get a bang on the nose. Oh, and it's gone from bad to worse suddenly for Hull KR. They were out on the full.
Goodness, there's a little bit of anxiety now drifting through the ranks and probably up to the coaching staff from Hull Kingston Rovers. Ball kicked out on the full. You know, Ben Cocaine may have got a loose finger in the eye. He went down very, very quickly. The impact didn't look that great. But if we think of the play so far, Hull Kingston Rovers have scored from their own try line, from a knock-on, under pressure from the Leigh Centurions. You know, Leigh have got a couple of tries. They've also missed a couple of tries as well. So, you know, you have to say that Leigh are, you know, are well and truly in control of this game so far.
Well, we spoke to Chris Chester on Boots and All on Wednesday. He was on the telephone and obviously celebrating his success with this club in the Cup semi-final. But he said the #1 priority over the next 7 weeks was to maintain their Super League status. And here is Jake Emmett. Oh, and not Jake Emmett, it's Andrew Dixon. And Andrew Dixon's gone over for the second quick try from the Leigh Centurions. Andrew Dixon, who has played in Super League. He's extensive experience in the Super League at Saints and Salford. 2 grand finals with the Saints. A try at Old Trafford in 2010. But just how vital could this try be for the Leigh Centurions in their quest to get back to the promised land?
Well, they wanted to start off with a win, getting those 2 points, and Andrew Dixon, he cuts a very good line, but the pressure that Hull KR are putting on themselves, they kick the ball too long after conceding a try. They go down to the other end of the park, and this is far too easy. He comes off the ruck, Andrew Dixon, and it's not even a step at the line. He just changes that direction. He spots a gap behind the pitch. You can see Graham Horne's clutching, Tyrone McCarthy's clutching. You've got to make sure you defend closer to the ruck. You can't open up gaps like that behind your ruck when you're so close to your own try line.
Chance here then for Martin Ridyard to open up a 12-point gap, and that's exactly what he has done. 3 from 3 for Ridyard, 10 out of 10 for Leigh in the last couple of minutes. Dixon's try, hot on the heels of McNally's try. From 6-0 down, they're 18-6 ahead.
Well, I don't definitively know what the Hull Kingston Rovers defence system is at the ruck, but I guarantee it's not that. Both markers went the same way. Tyrone McCarthy stood still and Graham Horne went backwards. There was a hole there you could drive a bus through, and Leigh absolutely exploited it. Hull Kingston Rovers are in danger of losing their grip on the game very, very early on. They need someone now to take a grip of this and change the shape of the game.
3 tries in 7 minutes has rocked the Challenge Cup finalists back on their heels. Here is Emmett.
But when you play rugby, you get challenged both mentally and physically. And at the minute, they just can't answer all the questions. Hull KR. Leigh Centurions, Gareth Hock taking them on down the middle. Just looking for that opportunity, looking for that weak defender where he can get an offload free.
Big tackle, move, James.
I think Leigh are challenging the honesty of Hull Kingston Rovers. That, you know, they're not just playing a set structure of completion and kick and chase, and it's not just the ball players that are looking to move and play. Now, little movements down the short side when markers are not switched on, or the short side defenders have lost the concentration. They are going to be tested today if they don't step up a couple of gears.
And they're currently without Ben Cocaine, who is in the dressing room, and apparently there is concern about some possible damage around the eye socket. So it wasn't a broken nose by any stretch of the imagination. It might be a lot more serious than that for Ben Cocaine.
Well, fingers crossed, Ben Cocaine's okay. It looked a nasty one. He never stays down injured. All the times I've watched him, he's a tough character.
Big Dane Tills, 6 foot 6 inches of him, carrying the battle forward to the Leigh Centurions defenders, but they've reached the 5th tackle, so this is the last. And from Dane Chisholm, goes into the air, but that is a nothing kick, really. It's easy, is that, for Liam Kay.
Eddie, it was a good kick. It was a nothing chase. It was a nothing chase. It was absolutely terrible.
This is getting worse for Hull Kingston Rovers. They've now conceded a penalty for a ball steal on the ground by Graham Horn.
Well, we've seen what's happened to Hull Kingston Rovers every time they give a penalty away. Graham Horn there, hand on the ball, quite clearly see, just nudges it through, trying to get away with it from the officials, but not good enough and not smart enough on the occasion to do that. But every time Hull Kingston Rovers give a penalty away, they invariably concede a try. And because Cockayne is now off the field, we've now got Graham Horn out the pack, playing at right centre. And for all his assets, it's not speed and agility out wide. And Leigh will pick that, they'll move the ball, and I'm sure they'll have a look at getting them at some point.
Mickey Heim is on the field, there he is. Number 30 on his back. Began the season at Warrington. Forward pass though here to Dixon.
Well, again, they're looking round the ruck, aren't they? The tight two defenders either side ruck, they call the air defenders. And that's what coaches and players refer to them as. The ball goes one side, it comes back the other. Dixon looking for that gap again, looking to hit that same hole. Tyrone McCarthy on that occasion gets there, but the forward pass was ruled by the referee, Ben Thaler.
It was tight, it looked flat.
But you look to hit line balls, don't you? You just want to hit that as flat as you can. Gives you a chance of getting over the advantage line.
Ben Thaler's closer to it than us, and playing, of course, or not playing, but officiating his second game of the weekend is Ben Thaler. He was in charge on Thursday night.
Well, he's showing no signs of fatigue because he was absolutely spot on with that. And I think by default, Hull Kingston Rovers have got away with it because there was another massive gap, Terry, between a defender and the two markers. That a defender is simply standing still and not moving forward. I'm sure it's not lost on Leigh.
They're defending well, though, the league leaders of the championship so far. All right, they have conceded one try. This now is James Donaldson for Rovers. He plays the ball quickly to Sean Lunt. Maurice Blair just drops the ball off. And Greenwood does actually a 360 degrees run before he sets off once again in a straight line. Again, last tackle coming up, so expect the kick here. Blair obliges, goes high, looking for Ken Seo, claimed by Liam Kay.
He's been tested, hasn't he, Liam Kay, but he's come up with all the answers so far in this game. There's a penalty.
Well, I tell you what, that was a little bit of experience on the show there, because Ken Seo hadn't cleared the ruck.
Yeah, well, he was involved in the tackle, he couldn't get out the way. He couldn't just make himself disappear, but as you say, Eddie, clever play this. He's left on the ground, Liam Kay gets up, straddles him, knows that he's still there, and you can see Greg McNally just passes the ball into him. The penalty's awarded. And
the penalty count is contributing to Hull Kingston Rovers' downfall. They have conceded 5. That includes one for out on the full from the kickoff, of course, but 5-0, the penalty count. Let's get some news on Ben Cockayne. Angela Powers is on the sideline.
Yes, Eddie, you might have seen Ben Cockayne come off holding his face. We thought it might be his nose, but it's his eye socket they're looking at. He's now on a concussion break. Has been tested for that. Another 8 minutes or so to see whether he will come back on, but they're very hopeful that he will be back on the pitch.
That's good news for them. Here, meanwhile, is Mickey Higham. As they left Warrington mid-season, much to the displeasure publicly of the Warrington Wolves coach Tony Smith. And Briley with a kick to the corner. Dealt with, though, by Mantellato, one of the safest in the business under the high ball.
Well, the only reason why I can see them kicking to Mantellato is to turn him around, because he is that big. Turn him around, he's not as quick, he's not as nimble as what Ken Seo is or Kieran Dixon.
I just think from Leigh's perspective, Terry, you want a challenge, a genuine challenge, don't you, on the back end of a kick. They've done very well to go from A to B. From one end of the field to the other, you simply don't want to give the ball away so cheaply. He doesn't drop many balls, does he?
Chris Wellham. And that ball comes free in the challenge, and it's an obvious penalty. It's given by Ben Thaler. First penalty to Rovers, and ironic cheers from the small band of Robin supporters who have journeyed across the Pennines today.
And it's a lifeline as well, I feel, for Hull KR. They need something now. Some of the forwards just struggling 33 minutes into this game. They need some decent field position and to build in confidence, because the team that's been playing with all the confidence and on the front foot is the Leigh Centurions.
If we look at
coming up later on, sorry, Paul, just let me tell everybody, the Super 8s, Catalan Dragons against St Helens live from Perpignan. That's available just before 5 o'clock, once we have finished here, actually, and it's on Sky Sports 3 this time. You press your red button, you will find it. Paul, sorry.
I was just about to say, Eddie, that Leigh might be finding the perfect storm. Hull KR have learnt to play without Campese. They're having to learn now to play without Albert Kelly, who is so influential into their spirit, the momentum and their skill set. And they've also, on the back of that huge victory against the Warrington Wolves last week, it looks like it suck a little bit out of them. They look very flat.
Very well claimed, that ball, though, by Dane Chisholm, but he had to stretch backwards for it and lost the momentum somewhat. Tyrone McCarthy goes into dummy half. It's now with Kieran Dixon, and he'll hoist that high and almost onto the roof of the stand. I think he just fell off the page.
Well, again, it's just a nothing kick, isn't it? He's not renowned, Kieran Dixon, for his kicking game.
The fellow who caught it in row X in the stand didn't think it was a nothing kick.
Well, that looks like there's no Campese. It looks like there's no Kelly, and
exactly.
I don't think the fullback should be. The kicking game.
It's not his game, Paul, is
Kieran
it?
Dixon. You're absolutely right, Terry. He doesn't have that in his arsenal at all. But what you're looking for down there is the other senior players to be demanding shape, structure, and delivering a kick that's going to do justice to the fact they've got down into that field position. They're giving it away.
Oliver Wilkes, the club captain, is on the field. Mickey Hyam is the dummy half, back at this club after a 15-year absence and loving every minute of it from all accounts. McNally gets the ball away again, and Worthington is clawed to the ground by Montelato, an important tackle. But Leigh just keep rolling forward, and this is Sam Hopkins. And Hopkins goes down 20 metres away. Plays the ball to Hyam, he goes the short side. McNally with a little chip into the in-goal area, and that is too long. Dixon allows it to run dead. He wants to get on with it quickly now, Dixon.
And this is exactly what they need, isn't it? They need to speed the game up. Got 5 more minutes to go before half-time, but the execution and the passes from dummy half from Mickey Hyam, it's catching Hull KR out. You see the outside backs now, Well and Montelato pushing up, Kieran Dixon in behind dummy half. This is their job, this is their role, Ed.
And this is Kieran Dixon taking them forward. He plays the ball to nobody in particular. Graham Horn had to be very quickly to get into it. Dixon just didn't look behind him then. There was no one there. And under pressure from Mickey Hyam, Graham Horn drops the ball.
Eddie, Kieran Dixon's not at fault here. Kieran Dixon does everything right. He wins that play of the ball. He breaks free. He's got a one-on-one tackle with Mickey Hyam. Some of his teammates need to be behind him to pick up them pieces and take the ball and go forward again. That's what you call a defense. That's what you call an attacking win. That.
And Graham Horn, who got there and unfortunately spilt the ball on behalf of Hull Kingston Rovers, he's playing at right centre. He's got no right to be on that side of the field pushing up. What's everybody else doing? Kieran Dixon at the moment is playing on a different energy level to the rest of his team.
Referees to stop the clock and ask the water carriers to come on and refresh the players with some much needed water, and he wants a swill himself, does Ben Thaler.
Because he's doubling up from Thursday.
Doubling up from Thursday, but he just indicated he was just doing his warm-up to me that he's a fit guy. He's got no flab on the stomach. He's up for this. He's got 2 games in 3 days.
He's in great nick, isn't he, Ben?
Well, he did wave and gesticulate something, Eddie. I don't quite know whether it was actually that, but polite version.
You don't think you're best referee going in Super League when you're at Warrington? No, start today. Second best, all right.
Do you know, he's got a good rapport with players, hasn't he?
He has. I think
players work with him.
I think a lot of people agree he has been a tremendous referee this year, maybe the best that we've got in the business at the moment. But here come the Centurions again. We just put the brakes on, did Liam Kay. It was enough to fool Dane Chisholm, but it won't fool that particular man, and it was James Donaldson. Hyam gets the pass away, and this is Hopkins now again.
Play one attacks from a scrum. You have to like that. It's adventurous. It's what we want to see. It's not simply taking the ball in. They got Barlow out the scrum to operate at standoff. You might think he's just going to carry the ball. He shifted it and he moved it wide.
Worthington goes down, tackle number 4. They're inching ever closer though to this Hull KR line again, and Hyam gets the pass away, and then it's a no-look pass. But was it touched by the looks of things? The touch judge is saying it was. It was touched by Hull KR hand, and this is head and feed to the Leigh Centurions. Is it Chris Wellham who gets a fingertip to this? Yes,
yeah, it is. Well, Mickey Hyam's been around long enough, hasn't he, to look at those short sides, and when he gets out, he knows his first job is to isolate the man who's marking the play of the ball. As soon as he does that, he tries to create space on the edge, creating a 3-on-2, a 2-on-1.
Credit to Chris Wellham for being there. Simply stuck his arm out to make a tackle, and the ball bounced off that left arm. And if you're a little bit loose in defence at the ruck, and Hull Kingston Rovers certainly are, the last person you want at dummy half is Mickey Hyam. Super League player, down at championship level for part of the season, back in the middle eights now. He's going to be a genuine threat.
High shot here and a penalty to Leigh.
Well, it's just the footwork, isn't it?
Just round the neck. And this is a golden opportunity then for the Leigh Centurions to add to this 18 points that they've scored. And it's with Oliver Wilkes, and the skipper will take it forward almost to that goal line before he goes down. On the second tackle, they're underneath the sticks though, looking for the runners. It's Sam Barlow, and Barlow is held up just short of the line. Hyam is scheming. Look at him, he's going left, looking right, looking left again, so comes this way, finds Martin Ridyard. Ridyard then to McNally. Oh, and another. That's a try saver. Yeah. That's a try saver from Ken Seo.
Yeah, it is. They had space, didn't they? They had him with numbers as well.
They had 3-on-1.
Yeah, they did. And it's just that save. Ken Seo knows that he's beat. He knows that there's two Leigh players outside of him. He goes in, he makes the decision, he comes up trumps, hits the ball, and he just served another try there.
Hulkington Rovers are in this game now by fingertips. Check the quality of the ball from Mickey Hyam. It was long pass to short pass. It must have been 15 metres from the base of the play of the ball. That's a massive skill within its own right, but it bypassed about 3 defenders.
They're coming this way again. They're coming this way again. They might have a try here from Tom Armstrong. Armstrong's claiming it. The referee will have a word with the touch judge. I think he's saying, get this one checked upstairs.
I'm not absolutely sure.
He wants it checking, but I think they might have a try on the field.
But no try.
Oh, they've got no try. So they have to now find a concrete reason to turn this upside down and award the try. Leigh looked very confident.
Yeah, he backs himself, doesn't he? Tom Armstrong, Graham Horn, there who's lining up in the centre position. Does he and does Ken Seo add enough weight to stop Armstrong from grounding this ball? Well, the ball's not down there yet. Does he get it down there? I think he might have got it down, Eddie.
I was about to say this is sensational defence on their own line from Hulkington Rovers, and then that last frame or two, look, that ball's on the deck.
Yeah, but have a look at the skill from Armstrong. He transfers the ball from one arm into the other arm to get the ball on the ground.
I wonder if the video referees Phil Bentham and Matt Thomason will look at this in real time.
Yeah,
but it looks
it's not there.
It's not there, Eddie. I think it's when this arm comes free. When he pulls away his right arm, that ball to me is on the ground. So as you say, play it in real time. I think it's a try.
Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out here. The try's awarded. What a boost that is for Leigh Centurions to take with them into the dressing rooms in 20 seconds time.
Do you know, do Hull KR believe that they can win this game? Paul Rowley just goes down the tunnel. I'm sure that try from Tom Armstrong has made his half-time team talk a lot easier. But again, it's just the numbers. There's Ken Seo who saves the try, but they get head and feet, and from that scrum, it comes again to this left edge. The footwork from Armstrong, the big left foot step, and he's just urgency and effort and desire to ground that ball.
Well, Armstrong gets the try. As I said earlier, he is a product of the St Helens Academy. 3 seasons there, back at Leigh in 2014 from Sheffield. Now got 13 tries in 2015. And this is a big opportunity for Martin Ridyard to make another name for himself. And he has kicked this right on the stroke of half-time, because the hooter has sounded in the background. And from 6-0 down after just 8 minutes, Leigh Centurions, there they are, they've got themselves back into this match, and they lead at half-time by 24 points to 6. Big team talk coming up for Chris Chester and Hull KR, but for Leigh Centurions and Paul Rowley, they look back on the Brearley try, the McNally try, the Dixon try and the Armstrong try. Ridyard's improved all of them. 4 tries to 1, and the Championship League Leaders Shield holders lead the Cup finalists at the break in the first middle-eight match.